Hi friends, what's up? It's Jaime here. Okay, so for today's video, I kind of wanted to take a look at, I'm always talking about screenwriting this and screenwriting that and blah blah blah. But for this video, I really kind of wanted to, discuss how I knew I wanted to be a screenwriter, or like what made me choose screenwriting as like my main focus in terms of like what I want to do with my life. I've actually had this conversation with my friend Courtney and my boyfriend, where I told them that I've always kind of known that I wanted to be a screenwriter. Well, I guess, okay, correction, not a screenwriter specifically, but just I've always known that I loved like storytelling and that I loved creating characters. Before that, I had this one phase when I was like in first grade where I was like, I want to be an animal scientist, because I had like a major obsession with Go Diego Go, and I was really deep into my animal phase and also my dinosaur phase. So I was like, I'm gonna be an animal scientist and I'm gonna work with animals. Yeah, that was a brief stint. That did not last very long. Still love animals though, just don't really want to work with them. So almost immediately after that phase, I met my friend Kayla. She's a childhood friend of mine. And Kayla, honestly, I have to thank to introducing me to all kinds of things like Club Penguin and Lala Loopsy dolls and like all kinds of stuff from my childhood. But the main thing that I really have to thank her for introducing me to is YouTube. Before Kayla, I did not know what a YouTube was. I had only ever watched like, TV, like Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, things like that. So essentially, I didn't know that like people could like make their own videos or like their own like shows, essentially, and like put them out there for the world to see without like being on any kind of television network. So discovering the world of YouTube honestly like blew little 9-year-old Jamie's mind. Like I was so just like taken aback, but also just like enthralled by this idea that people could like make their own content and like tell their own stories and like put them out into the world, and like that was it. Like all you like, because YouTube is very easily accessible in that way. Like, you record a video and you post it, and then it's out there for anyone to watch. Kind of funny because I actually did kind of like a similar thing, but without like actually ever posting the videos. But I used to with my DSI, my hot pink DSI, you used to be able to like record videos with like your DSIs. Like I honestly, that was honestly like really cool. Like looking back on that. But I used to like record videos with my DSI camera of like my mini Lala Loopsy dolls, like acting out like little skits, like whatever that I came up with like on the fly. So like in a way I was already kind of like making my own videos, but I wasn't posting them anywhere, because I mean honestly I don't even know how you would get the video off of the DSI. I don't really remember how that works at all. It's been so long. Although I can't remember, this may have been after Kayla introduced me to my froggy stuff. I don't remember though. But again, like I was I was recording videos but not posting them. So the recording videos wasn't really a new concept to me. It was more just like the putting them out there for like other people to watch, so that I was like, whoa, that's crazy. Now, having mentioned my froggy stuff, I feel like I should provide a little background on that channel before going forward, because it's a really big part of actually what pushed me to like I guess become the writer that I am today. But yeah, so I feel like I should also preface this by saying, I was like really into doll YouTube, from ages like 9 to honestly 15, because that was like the first like community I was introduced to on YouTube, that and Minecraft. But for the majority of like my childhood, I was like really into DollTube. As for my froggy stuff is a doll channel run by a mom. Her name is Toya, and the channel is best known for its doll crafts and doll dramas that would star characters played by Toya and her daughter Bella. The first My Froggy Stuff video I ever watched was a how to make a mini doll bathroom, and from that moment on I was just absolutely hooked, because I would consider myself somebody who really enjoys crafts. I love a good craft. So I really loved like the craft videos, but also something else that I also really loved about the My Froggy Stuff channel is that they would put out episodes of the show they called The Darby Show, which was basically about these two sister characters, Sophie and Chloe, played by Toya and Bella respectively, who would go on a variety of adventures, usually kind of like revolving around the various crafts that Toya made in her other videos. I don't actually know if I'm remembering this correctly, so don't quote me on this, but I don't think like the first like couple of episodes for the Darby Show were scripted, but as they started making more episodes and the production kind of like became a little bit more professional, I think I'm actually, I don't even think, I actually have some memories of like watching like behind the scenes videos where Toya would talk about like writing scripts for the Darby Show. But yeah, so at first they weren't scripted, but then they eventually were. And I just remember being so impressed by how Toya and Bella were essentially making a show out of something that my 9-year-old self was doing in her everyday life, which was playing with dolls. Like I loved dolls. I loved making up stories with my dolls and making like designating like different characters and stuff. So I just thought it was so cool that they were like making a pretty success, because it was a pretty popular show like at the time, and that they were so successful with, again, doing something that I was just doing like in my everyday normal 9-year-old life. So as someone who was really obsessed with telling stories with her dolls, I was like really interested in like the whole production of like what My Froggy Stuff was doing, and was like, I can do that. And tried to do the same thing on like my own channel as a child. And well, I definitely did not have the same amount of success. Yeah. Many moons ago, me and my friend Kayla, who I mentioned before, we actually made like a joint channel where basically we were just trying to do what My Froggy Stuff was doing, but a lot worse because we were not My Froggy Stuff at all. The thing is, like, Kayla was also like really into like dolls and like doll tube and whatnot. I think honestly that starting a channel might have been her idea. I don't remember. I know we were both like really on board and we both really wanted to do it, but it might have been her idea to start a channel. But yeah, so we basically were trying to, you know, make our own shows with the dolls that we had. No scripts, no rehearsing, just whatever came out of our little brains at the moment is what we put in the videos. And yeah, they were not very good. We were just filming on like our fucking iPods in her basement. Like they were not that good. We had fun while we were making them, but they were just, you know, the production quality in comparison to My Froggy Stuff, you know, it really paled in comparison. Again, we were not very successful. I think we had like 9 subscribers total. But again, we had a lot of fun making the videos. It didn't really matter to us that they weren't like on the same level as My Froggy Stuff. But eventually, like as time went on, I kind of like decided that I wanted to make my own channel. And I think Kayla had already also like made her own channel just because, like, you know, we were like kids, so like getting together to like film at the same time, like film videos at the same time, was kind of difficult because we had to like ask our parents for permission to like go to each other's houses. So yeah, so eventually we kind of just like, we're still friends, by the way. This is, I'm not trying to be like, oh my gosh, there was like so much drama, we stopped doing YouTube together. We're still friends, we just didn't do YouTube together anymore. We don't. Kayla doesn't do YouTube at all anymore, but clearly, as you can see, I am still kicking all these years later. But yeah, so basically, at some point while like I was still kind of like, cause I was basically like the one like posting the videos on the channel because we were doing it under like my brother's account because we weren't old enough to have a YouTube account, and my brother's a couple of years older than us, so so I had like more access to the channel in that way. But yeah, so eventually I kind of just was like, I want to make my own channel, where I was basically still gonna try to do the same thing, which was making like shows with my dolls. It was around this time when I was kind of like transitioning into starting my own YouTube channel that I also discovered this other girl on YouTube whose channel name was Lizzie Hearts. At the time, I don't actually know if she still does YouTube or what her channel name is now, but at the time she was also making shows with her dolls. And so basically what happened was Lizzie, who, again, like I said, she did a lot of like her own like shows basically with her dolls. And so there was this one video that she uploaded, which was basically like a video contest where she was talking about how she was gonna host this video contest where you could submit like, I think it was like a minute long like trailer of like any kind of like concept you had, like story idea, for like a series. And whoever would win the contest would, like, she would turn your like story like concept into like a full like series. I don't actually remember like what happened with the contest. Like, I don't even know who won or if their idea was like actually turned into a series or whatever. I kind of dropped off at some point. But basically, I was like super excited about this contest. 12-year-old Jaime was like, this contest was like all I could think about for like weeks. I don't actually remember how long it lasted, but I just remember being really excited for a really long time about it, and just thinking about like what I was going to submit for it, because I was basically like, oh my god, this is my chance to collaborate with somebody who is doing a much better job at what I'm trying to do. Let me get in on this contest. Spoiler alert, if you somehow couldn't tell, I did not win the contest. Fun fact, I never actually ended up submitting anything to the contest at all. Because what happened was I fell really in love with like the concept that I had created that I was going to submit for the contest, that I was just kind of like, you know, I think I'm gonna just try to do this myself. However, this was also at a time where I was getting like really into Minecraft. Like, I had been into Minecraft before, but like now I was like really getting into Minecraft. Particularly, I had discovered this little show. You might have heard of it. And, I don't know, you might have heard of it, called Minecraft Diaries. And this was also at a point where I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do with my YouTube channel. Like I said before, at first I basically wanted to do like the same thing that I had been doing with Kayla on like our channel before. Just this time on my own, like making my own like shows with my dolls. But after about a year had like passed of me making this channel, which was previously called Raven the Singing Nerd, I really hadn't made any progress on the making my own shows front. So instead, I decided to upload a little theory video about Minecraft Diaries, and you know, we all know how that turned out. I was like super obsessed with Minecraft Diaries. I mean, I don't have to tell you guys that. If you look at like all of my most popular videos and just like all of my videos from like 2015 to like 2018, I think. I'm not actually sure if I had those years correct, but something like that. You can see just how obsessed I was with Minecraft Diaries. But because of that obsession, I kind of like transitioned from wanting to make shows with my dolls to instead wanting to make Minecraft roleplays like Minecraft Diaries. This is when I started seriously writing for the concept that I had initially come up for the video contest, which is a little thing I like to call Mission to Mars. You know, just the thing that's been consuming my life for the past 7 years, no biggie. Like, I was working on scripts and storyboarding and character designs, but like for real this time, and not just like making shit up as I went along like I did in my early YouTube days. I'd also like to point out that at this point, I still would not have considered myself like a screenwriter or even a writer, like at all. Like, to me, I was just doing something that felt really natural because here was this project that I was just really excited about and like really passionate about. And so I just was like, I just really loved creating and like making stuff for it. So again, to me, I didn't really think of myself as like doing anything special. I was just kind of like doing what I had always done, but now I was writing it down. So when I found out that there was like an actual name for what I was doing, which is screenwriting, I was like, oh yeah, I guess I like screenwriting. And like I said, the fact that I've been storytelling for so long, whether it was with my dolls, on or off camera, or trying to make my own Minecraft roleplays, like it just never really dawned on me that I was like making art or anything. I was just kind of doing something that I had always done ever since I was a little kid. No matter how many different mediums I've cycled through over the years, I've always wanted to see my projects come to life on screen. And so when I started learning more about screenwriting and its format, it just felt like the most natural fit for what I had always been doing and always wanted to do. Honestly, this is kind of just like a long-winded explanation to basically explain that yes, while I've only been like recently with my return to YouTube, like posting videos about like my screenwriting, I've always been a storyteller at heart, and in that same vein, a writer. So I will continue to be sharing my writing process, my current projects, any tips or funny anecdotes I might have regarding writing, until I'm able to share with you guys like the actual projects that I've been working on for the past 7 years, on which I really do think that you guys are gonna like, so stay tuned for those. That is all I have for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Honestly, when I first kind of like came up with the concept for today's video, I didn't expect myself to like kind of like take a deep dive into like where I like, you know, got my start on YouTube, but it was kind of fun to like take a walk down memory lane and tell you guys like how like my relationship with YouTube began and kind of like how it's evolved and how it's also like affected like my relationship with like storytelling and writing and whatnot. So I honestly think this was really fun. I really enjoyed talking about this because I don't think I've ever like fully kind of like talked about like I've talked about it a little bit, I think, but I've never like fully like kind of told like how I kind of like got my start on YouTube and then how I've kind of like evolved, because what I like used to do on YouTube when I was like 12 is very different from what I do now. So I just think it's kind of interesting to look back on that now. And yeah, that's all I have for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.